welcome back to part 4 of our low back pain series. Thanks for joining us again. My name is Charlie Swingle from the Recovery Project. I'm a physical therapist here and I'll be leading you through today's exercises. So we've already gone through parts 1, 2, and 3. We've worked on some of our mobility, some of our flexibility, and a lot of our strengthening and core stability. Today we're going to be getting up into a standing position and again progressing everything a little bit more to more dynamic and functional activities. These exercises will be a little bit more challenging than the things that we've done up to this point, and I look forward to running you through everything today. So, first activity that we're going to do, we need some type of resistance band. In therapy, your therapist may have given you one that's not a circle like this, but long length, and that's one that you can tie off. What I have here is a circle band. These can be found on Amazon or any other kind of online marketplaces. Walmart even may have them, Dick's Sporting Goods, and they're just a few dollars. So what we're going to do is we're going to take whatever resistance band that you have at home and we're going to either tie it around our knees, or we are going to, if we have the circle band, just place it right above our knee joint here. The first two exercises that we're going to run through are called lateral banded walks and monster walks. We're going to go through our banded lateral walks first, or banded lateral stepping first. And what that is meant to do is kind of get our glutes firing, so warming up our glutes. So what you're going to do is you're going to get a soft bend in the knees, like if you've ever been a basketball player, like you're about to get into a defensive position here. Soft bend in the knees or an athletic position, keeping our spine nice and neutral, so what I don't want to see is here or a lot of extension here. Soft bend in the knees, and then we're going to start stepping to the right and to the left. Now, as you can see with my feet here, I'm making sure to keep tension in the band. So I don't want the feet to come all the way together here, okay? And what we're going to shoot for is 10 steps to each side, okay? And we're going to do 2 to 3 sets of that. So we'll run through one set right now together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good, and again, we'll go through 2 to 3 sets of that. So on your video, if you'd like to finish those up real quick, you can hit pause on the video. So I'm going to go into the next portion, which is going to be our banded monster walks. I'm going to show you from the side here because I need a little bit more room and I don't want to get too close to the camera here. So again, we're going to keep that band around our knees here. Same principles apply. Soft bend in the knees, keeping a nice neutral spine here. And now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going at a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to go up to the right at a 45-degree angle, and then I'm going to go up to the left at a 45-degree angle. Again, the same principles apply where I'm not letting my legs kind of go together where we're losing the tension in the band. So if we have from a straight on view here, it's 45-degree angle to the right, 45-degree angle to the left, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to reverse that. Good. Like so. And I'm going to go back to the side angle here as we run through a set. For these, what I want us to do is we're going to go forward 2 and back 2 for 6 repetitions. Again, we're going to do 2 to 3 sets of that. So let's run through one set together here. 1, 2, 1, 2. And again, that'll be 1 repetition there. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Good, that's 3. 1, 2, 1, 2. 4. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Good, and that's 6. So that's one set. What I want us to do is run through 2 to 3 sets total, okay? So go ahead and pause your video now if you'd like to run through those before we move on to our next activity. For our next activity, we can take the band off. Now we've warmed up the glutes a little bit, got those firing, and the hips are activated, and we can kind of feel lateral glute area working for us. The next activity that we're going to get into, we need a weight, or you can do a grocery bag filled with maybe a bag of rice or something that has a little bit of weight to it. Now we don't need something super heavy. I have a kettlebell here. If you have even a dumbbell at home, you could use a lighter dumbbell and start lighter, and then if it's too easy, again, as we've kind of done through all our videos, if something's too easy, then we progress it. But if it feels challenging enough, you stick with that initially. But I'm going to use a kettlebell for this one. So you're going to hold that weight in just one hand here. And what you're going to be doing is we're going to be maintaining a nice neutral trunk here, okay? So that weight's going to want to pull you down to the side. Now I want you to try to not let it pull you down the side. So if you feel it pulling down your side, find that neutral position. And then from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go marching. Now this is called suitcase marching. There's an exercise called suitcase carries. We're doing suitcase marching, where we want to try to keep a nice neutral trunk position here, okay? So we're going to go through 20 marches, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. Now we just challenged what would be our right side, if that's what you started with, if you're mirroring me. So we'll bring the kettlebell onto the other side. You'll feel how it wants to pull you down. You're going to lift yourself up, nice neutral position, maintaining some good posture, some good symmetry here, upright. And again, we're going to go for 20 marches. We'll go through that together right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. So we're going to run through 2 to 3 sets of that on each side. I would start with 2. Again, these can be a little bit challenging for the cardiovascular system as well. Might feel yourself getting a little out of breath. Heart rate going up a little bit. That's exactly what we're looking for. Our next activity that we'll be going into following the suitcase marches is going to be a reverse lunge. The main things I want to focus on here, now this is a very functional activity with lunging. These are things that we have to do throughout the day that you may not notice, but a lunge is a great strengthening activity for our lower extremity. So what we want to make sure we do is maintain a neutral spine while we're doing this reverse lunge. So what a reverse lunge would look like is down, back, and then up, okay? So we're reaching our right foot back, and we're coming back to our standing position. Now for that, what I don't want to see is where the trunk flexes forward a lot, or when we step back, we get a lot of extension here, right? So we want to keep a nice neutral spine during this activity. So we're going to go alternating reverse lunges. For this, we're just going to start off with 6 each side and 2 sets of that. If those feel like a breeze, then we can go up to that 3rd set, but these are going to be a little challenging initially. So we'll run through that together here. 1, and then we're going to go with the other leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good, and that'll be 1 set. So again, main things here to focus on, keeping a nice neutral spine. I'm going to square up to you here too. The other thing that I want you to focus on while you're doing these is where our knee alignment is while we're doing this activity. So again, we want to keep an upright trunk and neutral spine. But what we want to see is that foot or ankle, our foot and ankle, knee and hip, all pretending it's a headlight, we want that facing forward. So what we don't want to see is when we go back into a lunge, that knee going inwards excessively or even outwards excessively. So we want to see nice alignment when we're going into that reverse lunge. And again, we'll do 2 sets of 6 on each side to start with. So our next activity, I'm going to start with the chair because it'll give us a little bit of something to use as a target for us in terms of the depth of our squat. And so what we'll be doing is going into a squat. So with the chair behind us, and I'll show from multiple angles here, but we'll start here. We're going to go down into a squat and back up, trying not to use our hands here. So what I want us to try not to do is use hands off the legs or anything like that. So again, we're going to go down into a squat, nice and controlled, and up. Down and up. And now the other thing that we want to do is, again, same principles as we did with our reverse lunge and everything that we've done throughout this point, is trying to keep a nice neutral spine. So when we're coming down to the chair here, we don't want to see excessive flexion or extension. So we don't want to see the trunk really folding forward, and we don't want to see where we're super hyperextending through the low back going down that chair. Again, nice neutral spine, getting the core activated, belly button towards the spine. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go all the way to 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, and again, we'll do 2 to 3 sets of that total. One thing again that we talked about with our reverse lunge that I want us to be cognizant of is our knee position. So, when we're coming down, again, we don't want to see the knees going inwards excessively, outwards excessively. We want to think of our hips, knees, and foot and ankle as headlights, and we want them pointing generally in the forward direction. Following squats, our next activity that we're going to be going to is a deadlift variation. Now, during therapy, we learned to hip hinge, and what hip hinging is where we're working on getting forward flexion, not at our lumbar spine, but at our pelvis. So when we're going down to pick up an object, instead of really flexing at the spine, we're learning to hip hinge and also drop down, use our legs to pick up an object to keep a neutral spine, take some stress off of that low back. So with that hip hinge, that's going to be the main focus of our deadlift activity. So again, we're getting our hips going back, hinging at the hips, not flexing at the lumbar spine. And what we can use is we can add a little bit of load to that if we feel that we have the technique down pretty good. So I have just 2 10-pound dumbbells here. You can start lighter than that too. Or if this is this is an easy activity for you, you can go a little bit heavier. But all we're going to do is we're going to hinge. You should feel the hamstrings load up a little bit. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, and we'll go through 2 to 3 sets of that total again. Now our last activity, again, if we have a resistance band at home, what I want you to do is you can untie the one that you use for around your legs for our banded lateral walks and our banded monster walks, and you can go ahead and tie it to. I'm using an exercise bike here, but you can go ahead and tie it to anything that's pretty stable. You know, a beam in your home, or you can have a loved one hold the other end for you. But what we want to do is have it tied to something lateral to us. I'm going to adjust the bike here a little bit. Good. So again, I have it tied to this bike here. There's no way I'm pulling that away with this amount of tension here. So this is called a pal-off press. So again, what this will be is a core and trunk stability and strengthening activity. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull our band. We'll start from the right here, pull our band into the middle of our chest. We're going to have that nice athletic stance here, and then we're going to go out and in. So when we go out, you're going to feel how that band wants to pull you laterally. So you have to maintain a nice strong core, keeping shoulders, hips, knees facing forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Main things here are not letting the band pull you laterally, and also maintaining a nice neutral spine. So I had the band pulling to my right. Now what we're going to do, I'm just going to flip around real quick to show you, but you would also go the other direction and you'd have it pulling towards your left. So we want to make sure to hit both sides. Very similar to when we were doing those suitcase carries, okay? So this was a paddle off press in a neutral foot position here with a soft bend in the knees, neutral spine. Again, we'll start with 2 to 3 sets of 10 repetitions on each side for that. If that is too easy, we can make it a little bit harder. So we can go into a split stance here. So I have my right foot in front, left foot back, and we can bring the band right to the middle of the chest again and press out. Now this will be a little bit more challenge on the stability both through the hips and through the core because we made our base of support a little bit smaller. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And again, so we did the right side, we would then go ahead and flip around, and we would go left foot in front, right foot behind, pressing out, maintaining a nice neutral trunk position. And again, trying to keep hips, shoulders, knees, everything facing forward. Like if you had headlights on the end of them, we won't want them pointing a bunch of different ways. We'd want them pointing forward. And that is our paddle off press. And again, with a variation. So again, we would start here in a neutral stance position. If that's too easy, we can go into a split stance. Okay? And again, 2 to 3 sets of 10 for that paddle off press variation. So with the paddle off press, that culminates all parts of the series here in part 4 of our low back pain series. That'll be the last thing that we'll do for this part 4 of the low back pain series, and we appreciate it so much for you checking out our videos, following along. It's really good for you to continue on with these exercises to maintain that low back health, keep yourself in good fitness, and keep a nice strong core and trunk. So thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time.